We're going to talk about the possibility of the Browns trading up to the number 1 overall pick to select Cam Ward. But first, I want to get your thoughts on this topic. Do you want to trade up and then draft Cam Ward? Just point blank. Give me a yes or give me a no. Scroll on down. Give me your thoughts while the intro video rolls. So the Browns held a private workout with Cam Ward. Everyone was up in arms over Stefanski and Barry not being at Miami's Pro Day. Turns out they were in South Florida, and now they're doing a private workout with the Miami quarterback. So let's talk about the possibility of the Browns, I think, would having to be moving up to number 1 to get Ward. If the Tennessee Titans were absolute about selecting Cam Ward first overall, one would think they'd let people know. And that would make everyone back off Ward. Just don't waste your time. He's going to go number 1. But the fact that they haven't done that, I think to me can be best perceived as the Titans like Cam Ward, but they want to see if anyone else out there loves Cam Ward, right? Loves Ward more than they do, to the point that they'll give up a king's ransom for him. And that's where I think we currently stand with Ward. Last year, his first season with Miami, and only season at the U, 4,300 yards, 43 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Listen, Ward as a prospect brings a ton of pros to the table. I mean, he's 6'2", 219 pounds. So from a size perspective, you don't have to worry about small hands. There's no like Baker or Kyler Murray kind of feel of can even see over his offensive line. No, he checks that box for you. He's also not like ancient. He's going to turn 23 in May, so he is not one of the older prospects like Tyler Shuck is or Brandon Weeden. Those were, pushing 30. They had 401ks well underway by the time they got drafted. Now, Ward as a prospect from a pros and cons standpoint, one of the pros I've got for him is he's a gunslinger. He might be the next Brett Favre style quarterback where you're going to walk out of the stadium and you're going to say one Sunday, I want him off my team. And the next Sunday, you're going to say, I never want him in a different uniform. He's going to, I think, have a roller coaster feel with wherever he ends up. He tends to be a little bit of a hero ball type of player where he holds on for a little while, he runs around a ton, he throws the ball in harm's way, and in college, you can get away with that. In the pros, DBs are going to intercept those balls, pass rushers are going to take you down for a sack, and you're going to be left very confused as to why it's not working when it works so well in college. So a coach like Stefanski is going to have to pull back the throttle a little bit on that hero ball mentality without compromising his entire makeup of a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes was like that at Texas Tech, and Andy Reid let him be him. Those are big shoes to fill if every single gunslinger quarterback just has to go out and be the next Patrick Mahomes to make it work. Now, the arm talent's there. I was watching a clip from his pro day. He was rolling to his left, right? So kind of throwing, backpedaling a little bit, if you can kind of visualize with me. And he threw it from the 4-yard line to the opposite 10. On the move. Now, I can also remember when Zach Wilson had the world's greatest pro day. Johnny Manziel put together an incredible pro day. The Browns know that. So don't get suckered into just pro days. But I feel like the Browns meeting with Ward does put a slight chance on a trade up to number 1 because the Titans, like I said earlier, I think like Ward. They might love Ward, but they want to know if someone loves him more because he's not this consensus number 1 overall pick that we knew about before the season even began. That was the case with Caleb Williams. That was the case with Trevor Lawrence. Going back in time, Andrew Luck. He's not at that level. And if someone wants to make the Titans an offer they cannot refuse, I could see a world where they go from 1 to 2, and they said before the Combine they are looking for a generational player. And maybe they're comfortable with Will Levis, Tim Boyle, and I think was it Jake Browning they had? They had one more quarterback. Brandon Allen. And letting those 3 veterans duke it out and just putting Travis Hunter on offense and defense or Abdul Carter on defense. Now, if you want to get into a little bit of a mystery with me here, a few days ago, the Browns tweeted this out saying, who are we going to take? I also, sidebar, I love when teams ask questions about what the team is going to do. Who are the Browns going to take number 2? I don't know. You're the fucking Browns. We were asking you, right? Who are the Browns targeting in free agency? Is this like a practical joke? How about you answer the own question? So the Browns tweeted this out, and it did not take a whole lot of time for some internet sleuths to realize that picture, that's from the 2018 draft. Reed, do you have any idea who this silhouette might be and whose name is being covered up by 3 question marks? That would be Denzel Ward's name. Cam Ward, Denzel Ward. Is this a hint? Is this a subtle clue? No, is my answer. Because I don't think the Browns social media team had a conference call, a little Zoom chat with Barry. And they're like, so we're putting together some tweets. Just when you have a chance, let us know who you're taking in the draft, and we'll put together some, mystery theme type of clues as to who the Browns could be taking. When you get a chance, just email that over. That'd be a big help. Thank you so much, Andrew. We'll talk later. Now, before we move on to the rest of today's show here, help us reach our goal of 43,000 subscribers. We are so close, just over 50 subs away. So if you want all the Browns' juicy rumors leading up to the draft, make sure you are subscribed, because there is no other channel out there, I promise you, that is going to keep you informed and entertained as much as we do here at the Cleveland Browns Report. Now, if you are a history fan like myself and you're wondering, okay, I would like to see the Browns trade up to select Cam Ward, but what would it cost? Well, you could probably guess my answer would be, let's see what history tells us. And there are 13 instances of teams in the modern draft trading up to the first overall draft pick. Most recently, you had Bryce Young when he was selected by the Panthers after Carolina jumped from 9-1 for multiple firsts, seconds, and DJ Moore. Before that, you have to go back to 2016 when Jared Goff was selected by the Rams in a trade up with the Titans. Now, this was from 15-1. We're only talking about going from 2-1. So you would not be giving up nearly as much as the Rams did for the number 1 pick from the Tennessee Titans. Before this one, by the way, all the way back to 2001 when the Falcons jumped up from 5-1. So we've gone from 15-1, 9-1 to 5-1. Now we're getting in the neighborhood of what it would cost. There is no example of a team going from 2-1. This would be an NFL first by my research. The closest I could find was in 1975 when the Atlanta Falcons traded up with the Baltimore Colts. I think it'd be the Baltimore Colts. And selected Steve Bartkowski. 3-1, and it cost them a future. Sorry, not a second round pick. We'll have to delete that. It's just a third and a first and this George Kuntz fella. And that was the trade. Sorry about that. That was left over from the Michael Vick one. So, third overall and first overall swap and George Kuntz, which the Colts ended up getting an offensive lineman here. I can't remember his name. And he would only play, I think, 2 years in the NFL. But George was a Pro Bowler for the Colts, for the Ravens. I don't remember. But anywho, this is the closest you can get. And I don't think it's going to be a player to move up from 2-1. So if I had to take a stab at what it would cost, here's what I'll roll with. To go from 2-1, you give Tennessee the first pick in round number 2. I think at this point in the NFL, in 2025, for how valuable the quarterback position is compared to 1975, the Titans are going to go, if you want your guy, give us your first pick in round number 2. I don't think the Browns are going to look to give up future first-round draft picks. But if you really want to trade up for Ward, and if you feel like, hey, this guy's the real deal, he is legit, this is, I think, in the neighborhood of what it would cost. So let me know. Would you do this trade? Give me an A for accept or give me a D for decline. My answer coming up in just a second, but I don't want to, spoil or impact or influence your decision. So scroll on down and let me know. I'm going to pass. Matthew Peterson is passing. If the Browns feel like Cam Ward is going to be a unbelievable quarterback, then you do it in a heartbeat. If you feel like he is going to be a franchise quarterback for 10 plus years, to hell with the 33rd overall pick. That is worth the price of admission to get your guy. But you better be confident about it. For me, I'm not confident enough. In fact, I was thinking about this. Go back the last 10 quarterbacks taken first overall. Where do you think Cam Ward would rank as a prospect? Forget what these guys have done so far in the NFL. Just think about when they were coming out into the NFL draft. How would they rank compared to Cam Ward? I would say as a prospect, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield were all head and shoulders above Cam Ward, the prospect. Jared Goff and Jameis, I think might be more in the neighborhood. I would say Ward might be above Goff, but probably, think about it. The Rams moved up from 15 to 1 for Goff. That's how much they liked him. Is there any team at 15 even considering moving up to 1? No, of course not. Jameis was a Heisman winner, and he was a national champion. He was a very highly touted prospect. And there's no way Ward is better than Luck or Newton when they were coming out as well. So if you go off just the last 10 quarterbacks taken first overall, at best, toss Ward in there, he ranks 10th out of 11. You could argue that he's better than Jameis or Goff. I think you're forgetting about what those guys were like 10 years ago. I don't think that he's worth the trade-up. I think Cam Ward is going to have a solid NFL career. I don't think he's going to be any team's franchise quarterback for a decade plus. So I'm not going to trade up for him. All right, let's pick a card to wrap up the show. Which card do you want to go with, Mr. Reed?
Let's go with the King of Spades.
I'm going to go with the 5. No, I did 5 last time. Let's do...
I also didn't pick my first.
I'm going to do 9 of hearts. I was thinking of this. 7 of diamonds. 7 of diamonds. All right. That Jeep guy said 7 of hearts just off the back iron. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We are going to sign off, and I will see you all later with more on the Brownies.